that they're going to drop a hammer on you and prosecute you to the full extent of the law.
Then I do my time in jail. Jail ain't nothing. That's what I always do, and they never catch me. Ain't nobody gonna catch me.
Because you're too streetwise?
Yup. And all these hoes laughing like something funny.
She's talking about the audience, that they're laughing at her.
Did you say the hoes are laughing?
Yep.
So the audience are a bunch of hoes?
Yep. Catch me outside. How about that?
Huh?
Catch me outside. How about that?
Catch you outside? What does that mean?
What I just said.
Hello, welcome again to another one of Rusty Reactions. I'm Rusty coming at you with another reaction. Now, we've got an article here, and it's interesting that, you know, after the fact, you start to hear whispers and articles and people writing books about how they really feel about something that happened years ago. Now, I've done a video on the sequel trilogy, and, you know, my feelings on it, they could have done a lot better. A lot better. But we've got an editor. Well, she was Lucasfilm's editor that Kathleen Kennedy took over. An original Star Wars editor absolutely slams Kathleen Kennedy's sequel trilogy. So the article starts, the Star Wars sequel trilogy is perhaps the most divisive of Lucasfilm's Star Wars trilogies. Debuting with J.J. Abrams' Force Awakens, the sequels have become an incredibly controversial sequel of films in the Star Wars galaxy. Isn't that interesting that the article's starting off in such a negative light when it comes to Disney's sequel trilogy? Like, you think back to all the articles coming out when these movies were gracing the screens, that you wouldn't hear too much negativity at all. It was just all groundbreaking, it was just all extraordinary, and everything was fantastic and perfect in the Star Wars world. And I thought that was interesting that they'd start the article off so negatively towards the sequel trilogy and what Kathleen Kennedy's done. Some fans hold Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy responsible, and others declare Director Abrams and even more polarising Rian Johnson as orchestrating the biggest issues with the sequel trilogy. Now, original Star Wars film editor Marcia Lucas has addressed the latest Star Wars movie in a scathing statement. I suppose the opening couple of paragraphs there is just bracing us for this scathing statement. Now, I believe that this person's wrote a book, and this is a couple of paraphrases out of that book. So we'll go straight down to it. I'm not going to read all the article as such, but it'll be interesting to go back and see what Inside the Magic had to say when the movies were getting released, how positive they were, how much everyone was liking them and loving them, how groundbreaking and how extraordinary the sequel trilogy was when it was coming out to now. I like Kathleen. I always liked her. She was full of beans. She was really smart and really bright. Really wonderful woman. And I liked her husband, Frank. I liked them a lot. Now that she's running Lucasfilm and making movies, it seems to me that Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams don't have a clue about Star Wars. And the book reads. So, that is a fair whack. Now, I don't know of Marcia Lucas's thoughts of the sequel trilogy when it was coming out, or when she came to this line of thought that she didn't like them, and it wasn't what she was expected. But it has been a few years later, and I think we would have heard this sooner, I believe, if she voiced her opinions at the start. They don't get it, and J.J. Abrams is writing these stories. When I saw that movie where they killed Han Solo, I was furious. I was furious when they killed Han Solo. Absolutely, positively, there was no rhyme or reason to it. I thought, you don't get the Jedi story. You don't get the magic of Star Wars. You're getting rid of Han Solo. Well, that was one aspect to it, wasn't it? It was a few aspects for me. It was how they were separating all the main characters in the past and putting them in each of the 3 movies. Lando Calrissian in the 3rd, Luke Skywalker in the 2nd, and Han Solo in the 1st, and just slowly killed them all off, and they didn't even think to put them in one scene all together again, which was a massive mistake for me. Massive mistake to have all those characters live and in the movies eventually, to not have them all grace the screen all together one more time. Massive mistake. They have Luke disintegrate, they killed Han Solo, they killed Luke Skywalker, and they don't have Princess Leia anymore, and they're spitting out movies every year. The entire filmmaker added, the filmmaker added, and they think it's important to appeal to a woman's audience, so now their main characters is this female who's supposed to have Jedi powers, but we don't know how she got the Jedi powers and who she is. It sucks. The storylines are terrible, just terrible. She goes on to make the bold remark, awful, you can quote me, J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, talk to me. So that is a fair whack. Now, that has been what a lot of people have said about the sequel trilogies as soon as Rise of the Skywalker dropped in theatres. And the amount of articles out there that were bashing any criticism towards it, calling everyone man babies and, you know, they're all sexist pigs that hate women and all that vile crap that you sit there and shake your head and go, well, it's an opinion. You don't have to agree with that opinion, but it's an opinion, and a lot of people have it. So I wonder now if any of these articles are going to come out and call Marcia Lucas all this foul rubbish, now that she's made the same opinion as a lot of others. But what surprises me is the fact that now, when it doesn't matter so much, a couple of years after we've seen the end of the Skywalker saga, that people are slowly coming out and reflecting on it in a negative way and really voicing their opinions on how they feel about the sequel trilogy and how they treated Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford and Billy D. Williams and all the main characters all the beloved characters that were there in the past, and just degrading them. Like turning Han Solo back into a smuggler bum who's a bad father and a lousy husband, and turning Luke Skywalker into a hermit bum sitting on an island wanting to die and wanting to see the end of the Jedi. You know, they respected Billy D's character, Lando, and Princess Leia's to a certain extent, but to have their sole focus on marketing new products and around and pushing new toys as such as the new characters, and that's my opinion, that they were more focused on the overall outcome they can get from re-releasing the third trilogy to the Skywalker saga and dishonouring the mythology and the basic concepts that the fans would have loved to see within that trilogy is has to fall on the disrespect that Kathleen Kennedy has for the Star Wars franchise, and I can't see it in any other way. Now, if you like the movies, that's great. I'm jealous, but I still can't understand the fact that they would want to disrespect all those characters and put them in separate movies together in the sequel trilogy and not have them interact in a way that would have brought the fan base together and wasn't going to divide it. So I think the criticism is warranted. I think Kathleen Kennedy done a terrible job at relaunching Star Wars for the new era and for a new audience. And another big mistake is not outlining or respecting the vision that George Lucas had for the sequel trilogy, throwing it in the bin and coming up with their own story. It fell well short for me, and I feel now, as time goes on, we'll just get more confirmation by a lot more people about how disappointed and how disappointed and how disrespectful the sequel trilogy is when it shapes up with what came before it, as in the original trilogy and the prequels. So that's my video on that. What do you think about Kathleen Kennedy's efforts with the sequel trilogy? Did you like it? Hope you did. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's just me giving my reactions to things. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all on the next video. So until then, everyone take care. Bye for now. Bye.
Please leave.
Miss, my father was a lawyer.
And y'all are just some damn fools.